Hey everybody, Dr. Emil Ahan-Garzadeh here. Just wanted to do a quick weekend review, touch bases with everyone, also show my face so you know I'm with you the whole time. So if you recall, the first week was basically trying to get everyone access to the Moodle space, but the content that we were taking a look at was primarily an overview of the research process in specifically the social field of education. And so we spent some time talking about your capstone project, of course, what the end goal is going to be. We've discussed what the process of educational research is, research, of course, in general, and you should have by now a decent idea of the differences between quantitative studies and qualitative studies. We've spent some time, I've provided some resources, of course, your textbook reviews those ideas quite a bit. So now this next week is going to be about identifying that research problem that you worked on towards the end of last week, or actually now, and really diving into the literature of it. The production of knowledge is what we're going to be working on over the course of this week. So as for your capstone project, at this stage of the game, you should be at the very least very, very solid around the general topic that you're going to be working on, and you really should have developed a research question from that topic. And of course, several examples are provided in your textbook. The best one, if I recall correctly, not the problem statement, actually comes out of figure 2.1 if you haven't had a chance to check it out. It's the section that takes you through, both in our Moodle space and in the Cresswell textbook, about the differences between topics and how then we go from the general and down into the more granular or the more specific. So we go from topic to research questions, and then you develop a purpose statement, and there's a difference between purpose statements and research questions, and at this point you should be at the very least knowledgeable a little bit about what those differences are, but you don't need to get too deep into the weeds of it. What you do need to do, however, at this stage, if you want to kind of check yourself to see where you're at in the eventual development of your final capstone project, you should have been able to, at some time, be able to actually write out the actual problem statement. So the best way is to get started by taking a look at your topic and then developing 2 or 3, ideally, research questions that you choose, that you want to focus on, that you feel that if you can reveal answers to those questions, you will be able to somehow address the larger problem, the topic that you have focused on. So once you have that down, then you go through a lot of the steps that are in the lesson that you took a look at this week, the process of going through and developing that flow of ideas, where you can actually start to write out what your topic is going to be. In fact, it's a wonderful formula for you to write out your entire statement of the problem section of your capstone project, right? You would lay out the topic, the research problem, you would write out the justification for why you're taking a look at that problem. You'll take a look at perhaps what deficiencies there are in the evidence, which is what this week is somehow going to be, because you're going to be going into the literature review, and then you relate the discussion of what your analysis to the audience, and there you have it. That's your statement of the problem. Figure 2.5 in the Cresswell text at this point is really all you need. Now, I do want to. I know some of you are not using the most recent version of the Cresswell text, and so I just want to make sure I can. Yeah, there's a great example on the on page 82 of the archive.org version. I want to say the 4th edition that you can get from archive.org. But again, it's figure 3.5 in that text, because it's 2.5 in this one, because they compressed some chapters from older editions to this one. So take a look at that figure. Again, 3.5 in your Cresswell text, 2.5 in your the latest edition, and it's also available in the Moodle lesson. I believe it's a 2.1 lesson. Take a look at that and ask yourself, what do you have to get to at this stage of the game for you to be able to write out what the problem is, what the research questions are that you're going to take a look at, the deficiencies in the evidence, and identifying the audience and discussing why it is that you're providing this to this particular audience. If you read through that, it's a great model for you to see. And again, now remember, this is just a statement of the problem. And this is what would now kick off what we're doing next week, which is our literature review. So we'll go over what the week is going to be like, but I wanted to just make sure that we're looking back as we move forward. Incidentally, everybody's doing a wonderful job with keeping up. I think at this point, everybody's caught up, which is tremendous. A few people are just a little bit behind, but they're almost there. So going into this week, we really want to not only have caught up, but now we want to kind of keep pace with their reading as well. The last thing I want to say in this kind of a backwards look and forwards look video is that I can't thank you enough, those of you who've been calling and texting and setting up appointments for us to get together between sessions so that we can have conversations around your ideas and you know, what you might be interested in, what you have a concern about, or what you're nervous about, or things of that nature. Again, of course, the topics are going to be primarily about your capstone project, but we can also review the content of the course if you're so inclined. So if you haven't done so and you feel the need to, now's the time. Send me a text, send me an email, let's set up some time to connect. Usually all we need is about 10-15 minutes, right? Sometimes it's a little bit longer, sometimes a little bit shorter. So I'd be happy to work with everybody post sessions. Okay, see you everybody on Monday.